Sorry guys, I'm just trying to process a lot of things right now. First and foremost, I hope everyone is doing okay. I am doing good. Could be better, but you know, that's just a part of life. We just have to keep going, and moving on is an essential part of just what I've been going through day to day. For the most part, you know, this live was just something that I had no idea would happen. Just to give brief context, there was just a lot of things that were being misinterpreted, that were going around to the point where I believe, you know, without, I think, this party's context, it would kind of result in a lot of people just speculating the wrong things time and time, and as that builds on, it kind of hurt a lot of the people in these parties, not just the party myself, but you know, just parties outside of DPR. So, you know, just to clear a lot of these speculations, and also just, I don't know, I've never really thought about it, but for the first time, just being able to just speak on my behalf is such a fucking crazy concept, but I just need to get things out for myself personally, because I just never felt like I had an opportunity or a chance to do so. So yeah, to be able to say that this is essentially something that I need is very much correct. And you know, like I too think that a lot of the different parties essentially don't really know exactly what I need or exactly what I want, let alone really have never really asked me what was going on with me. So, you know, to just clear it for pretty much everyone out there, and even like also the fans, you know, the fans deserve to know so much of what is meant to be going on and what is going on, for goodness sake, for the last 10 years, that it almost feels like it's not fair to even just keep going as it is. So to dead a lot of these speculations in the hope that maybe from this, the audience can grab what they think is feasible, what they think is solid ground, context and evidence, and maybe you guys can bring to light and make your own judgments about the situation. But today I'll be strictly speaking on my behalf and my experiences alone, and the things that I went through, and hopefully that'll give you guys enough context to bring into this present situation. And yeah, I'll start from there. I think number one of the most important things is to give context to any type of material that if you are going to make, whether it be certain types of accusations or certain types of speculations, there have to be some grounded context in order for anyone to make proper judgments, I would assume. And for me, I think it's just been the hardest roller coaster of these last, I'd say fucking 15 years, far out. So if I had to start, I would have to bring it back to the very beginning of DPR. So where did this whole DPR shit come from? Like, where does this fucking movement even come from? So for me, when I finished high school, I wanted to do something big with my life. Like I felt like I've always had this calling, this gut feeling. I've always followed my intuition, and you know, by all means, my mom was the biggest supporter of that, you know, and I'm always forever going to be grateful. So that led me to my journey to Korea right after uni, and I was about, I'd say, 20. I just hit 20, I think. 20, yeah, fuck, that's pretty young. And, you know, I was just looking for some people to create some type of movement with, because I just felt like there was something that, like, I needed to do, and I just wanted to create just to influence and to inspire artistically. That was just my solid dream of wanting to create a movement. And most importantly, it had to be together with the people that I could truly trust and see my days on end with forever and forever. So I wanted to build like this community where, you know, people found a place to belong and everything. And, you know, that's what took me to Korea initially. So I went to Korea in my 20s, and then I met Live. That's where I met Live, and I felt like that relationship was fate and destiny. When I saw Live, it was just immediate connect. Like, it was like an immediate connection where, you know, like, you just don't get up. Now, I don't have siblings really, so like, if I felt like I really loved a brother and I really wish I had like a little brother, I guess that was Tabin. And you know, for me, like, he was also my greatest joy. You know, like, he was one of the biggest reasons why I found so much passion in the things that I do. So, you know, immediately me meeting him was like, hey, you know, he was just finishing school, and, you know, he was about to take his next course in life, and, you know, that was when the big talks were happening. And mind you, like, I was dirt poor. Like, I just got scumbagged out of all my money in the first 3 months. You know, maybe I'm just gullible like that, naive and stupid. But anyway, I just fucking, you know, like, I was living in this one room fucking office tel, and, you know, with that, me and Live, at that time, Tabin was set out to do these things. I'll just tell him, like, hey, we're going to do amazing things, because what I saw in him was just this, you know, when you see like a star, and then it's just kind of glowing in some people, and you just know, like, oh, they're just meant for something. That's just how I felt when I saw Live. And at that period in time, you know, that was my way of really communicating to him, and really that's how we grew that bond. And, you know, his trust over that was something that I'll forever be grateful for. So, you know, fast forward, you know, like, this opportunity came, and I've somehow became an idol. And I thought at that period of time, I don't know what K-pop and all this idol thing was, but I just thought maybe this would bring us the proper amount of exposure to be able to do this movement, because, you know, I wanted to do it with Live. Like, that was like one of my biggest things. It's like, we've tried to make groups before, and it is ups on fucking YouTube and stuff, but like, fuck, like, that was the dream, you know. And, you know, Live at that time had to go to the army, so, you know, he went to the army, and, you know, for whatever it means, I had one of the most traumatic experiences of my life when I was in that idol group. My years of being in C Clown, and that was for some of you that don't know, that was the idol group that I called, was historically probably up to this date one of the most one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. If it really would change me forever, you know, at least to say, you know, like, just the harassment, like, just fucking, you know, fucking abductions and all that fucking shit. I know like, I've tried to do this interview with Dre, but I had to be, like, there are things I can't say, just for not even my safety, but for others. But fucking hell, just, you know, sorry, I'm just on the fence of, like, do I just fucking go for it or not? Just what they do to people, the humanitarian level is just, you wouldn't even treat anything in this planet, you wouldn't even treat your worst enemies like that. And it would be enough to drive anyone manic, or anyone to have some form of DID. That's not to say that was the cause of my DID, but it did not help for sure. So I'll try not to expunge too much, but that was just, it fucked me over. Like it would be the epitome. Like if my first fall in life, where I truly thought I could no longer go on, and trust me, I always have to habitualize the idea that life is not fair and things would just not work out in towards the favor of the good and the kind. But I sometimes refuse to believe that. So I always believe there's an authentic way of getting to people, and a more genuine way of fucking doing things. You know, like just fucking doing it. But you know, like the idle days would be a true testament to that. Not even just exploitation. It was just it's just a little heavy to talk about right now, and I know this is why we had to redo a lot of the videos, Dre, and I apologize. But I mean, anyway, point being, I just wanted to fucking end it. You know, I just wanted to fucking die. Once that was happening, I was slave to like an 8-year contract, I believe. 3 or 4 of which I was, once I signed to the Idol as the Idol artist, it was an 8-year slave contract, 8 years, I believe. Before that, trainee, I was about 2-year trainee. But least to say, it's just the worst time of my life. The constant abuse every day, the fucking manipulation, the violence, even not just for me, but for my members. I had an innate habit to always protect those around me. I could have just fucked off to Australia. You know, they couldn't touch me there, but, you know, there were threats being made to not just me, but my team members, family members, and etc. So, you know, just for further reasons, I will not disclose anymore. So we were in a bit of a pickle at that time. Mind you, every day was just like death. It was like off of pure spite and fury. The things that they would do to you are just fucking explicitly. Sorry. I promised myself not to get angry, but just keep it cool. Yeah, so it took a lot just to get over that moment, and when I did, it was more like of a escape than things being resolved. And I'm sure you know, in today's day and age, even like just how the industry really works, especially not towards the favor of a lot of the idols. The company really has them by everyone by the fucking balls. So, you know, our generation was not any different. And at that period of time, there was no real cause and push for social media and influencers and stuff like that. So, you know, we were pretty much held quiet. Anyway, so 8 of which we've only done about 2 to 3 years, and before that, after that, my CEO died, and by that time I had went through too many things to the point where I felt like I couldn't return to myself. I still remember, I think that was when I could not believe when I blacked out. That's when I started blacking out, ladies and gentlemen. Before that, it was not too bad, but then after those experiences, I started experiencing a lot of my blackouts. I'll say blackouts in long interval periods of times where I'll just switch. So coping with that was just a whole nother beast, but I knew for me to survive, I just couldn't conform to the level that I thought those scums could get to. I didn't know I could get that destructive, and not just me, but I did not know I would want to be that destructive to people. I just never thought I had it in me, really. So you know, Live was luckily there to take me out of those moments. And so I promised myself that day and going forward, that DPR would be the emblem and be the fucking sign to absolutely going against, number one, the system, which I fucking hated. And number two, most importantly, I felt like I needed to live. So my gauge was pulled back to the very existence of where I thought I just could not come back from. And I was on the verge of just ending it all, really. And, you know, life pulled me back in and it was like, hey, are we going to do this or not? Like, are we going to go hard at this movement? And I was like, yeah, you know what? I was like, you know what? Fuck it. No matter how beat and no matter how hard it's going to be, you know, I truly think that I need to keep my promise, keep my responsibilities, and just fucking have a hack at life, really. So DPR was my salvation, ladies and gentlemen. It was the very thing that kept me here in this world. And that would be the start of me finding these people. Like Scott, I remember I didn't really click off with him at first, but I remember he just was broken. Like, this dude just needed somewhere to belong, and you know, he was on the cusp of going back to the States, but I knew he didn't want to. And I knew he was struggling to find a place of his own. So my reach to him kind of felt like, hey man, like, I want you to feel like you deserve something. I want to do this with you. And likewise, we had like all these other people that I brought in at that period of time. One of which would be my secretary, which I would later disclose why that's such an important information. Where do I begin? Because I was held to a contract at that time, which disallowed me to continue any further promotion as an artist or put my name in any type of trademark or any type of form of media, I found a loophole where it was like, do I just make an alias? And obviously it's just as long as I don't promote under a certain type of label, I'm still allowed to make money from other forms, other fucking mediums. And that would be, ladies and gentlemen, where I would start videography. Mind you, before that, when our team was struggling, I had to be the contents and media team for my company, and I didn't get paid for that. We were in debt. Apparently, I was in debt. I'm like this shit. I was in debt for about 700K, I believe. The number was $700,000 in debt. None of which we had a choice. I'm sure you know of how much we're allowed to spend, and they're just fucking using money, and God knows where. So my history with money is really all not that good. You think you learn, but you fucking don't. And so fast forward, I found a way to really bring myself back up, find a new piece of medium where I can truly feel like I can dedicate my whole life to, and that was videography. At that period of time, I think I was about 24, 25. And during that process, anyone that does production knows how fucking hard it is to just do lighting, from lighting to art, to shooting, being your own DP, borrowing those equipments, returning those fucking equipments, putting it on a hard drive, fucking exporting and importing it, making sure those hard drives are fucking backed up, and location scouting, all of those shenanigans, I would do for the next year or two, solemnly by myself, and with some help from Scott, which, you know, he would be the one that would just kind of, you know, maybe if my art was here, if I made something here, he would maybe distribute it. When the phone calls would come in, he would pick up and he would be like, okay, maybe this will be your clientele. So just hooking up with the clients and stuff. But for the first year or two, I would make about, I'd make about like 10, 20 videos for unnamed and unmarked artists. And, you know, the whole plan was to funnel this vision. I can't be an artist, obviously. So my next thing was, man, live. When he told me and he said he wanted to become an artist and he wanted to become a rapper, I believed it. Like, I believed this was the calling. Like, this was it. Fuck, bro, here we go. This is it, man. Like, I was so pumped. So all of that video and editing and all of that, like, I edited my own videos, I've shot my own videos, and I did that time and time again. Endless sleepless nights for about a year or two, and I hit the mark where, you know, that's how we started like getting bigger budgets. So I started shooting like Bobby and Minnow, and you know, and I still would do this solemnly by myself until I could find a crew. But where did all that money go? Hey, like where? So I didn't get any of that fee. I got like a freelance fee from that. Because our plan was to get the money that we got from shooting all those videos, right? So you know, those, imagine like fucking 20 videos, just doing it, fucking. So all those videos that I've shot, you know, I just got like if you were to say, you'd probably get like 10%. Sometimes I'll get none. I think the reason why I say I got none is because if I had to ratio out the times that I would use more of my money to make that video look good, it would be me. Mind you, this is all, like, I held myself accountable for doing those things at the time because it was a choice. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a choice. I wanted to do that. So I don't regret doing that. I'm just saying all of that money that I've ever made in the last 2 years of shooting, editing, fucking returning all these things like equipment, carrying like all those things day in day and after 3 days of shooting, sometimes 4, was being now put into like this little capital. We did not have any investors. We did not have anything. So our money mule was literally just what I shot and what we could get in. Come on, what we could fucking draw in. And you know, everyone was playing that part at that time. With Live was making his music, and you know, like when I heard Live's first track, like Till I Die and all of that, I'm like, bro, this is it. Like this is like the golden calling, man. Like, bro, I just knew it. Like this song at that specific moment in time, like no one was doing it. No one was doing it like him. Like no one was talking about real shit. Everyone was struggling. Like everyone. When I see Tarbin, I was like, man, I've got to help this guy. It doesn't matter if I'm struggling. I've got to help this brother, because just if I didn't, I just felt like there's just no other means of going by. Don't even ask me why. So I didn't care if all of that money that I ever like worked to get, like if that money was being now transferred into investing into Tarbin's first album, right? Then bro, that would be the place to put all your money into. We went fucking all in. We put all of that work, all of that money into Tarbin. And thank the Lord we did that, because for me, that was the only thing that kind of kept me up on my feet. Like, it was worth it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, for me, that was the pinnacle of why I was doing it. It really was. It really was the pinnacle of why I needed this to happen. And, you know, like, I was thankful to Scott. I was thankful to Chumble. I was thankful to Live. I was thankful to Cream. You know, at that period of time, like, these boys were the boys that kind of ended up at that last big, well, at the scene of, like, now, from here, guys, we have to now hold hands and let's go in. All right. The thing is, like, I mean, I don't even fucking know, like, to be honest now, knowing what the situation has happened, like, I don't even know how much money Scott would have taken or something. I don't even know at that period of time if that thing would have fucking started. But again, just so to speak, it's just, that was in my, 24s or 25s. And listen, I was happy to do all of that. And from those efforts, not just from me, but from others, we would go on to make coming to you live, the first album, without any investors. If anyone really helped me with the financial aspect, it was my mom. I'll fucking borrow. So sorry for borrowing money from my mom, but it would be my mom. Like, I'll borrow money from my mom, and my mom would pretty much funnel whether it be my software, my equipment. So, you know, she would be that, she'll be the number one investor for me then, I guess. But again, without that, I don't think anyone in the team really understands at that period in time how crucial it was for me to get the connections that I got, for me to understand how the whole industry worked on this end. And through that, I was able to appreciate how much people were working on the back ends, especially for production. Fuck, these guys do this and they go unnoticed. Fuck, how much you guys are doing here? Like, oh my God, and you guys got noticed. Fuck. And for me, it was so important to highlight what people were doing around for others, as opposed to what I was doing for anybody else. Like, for me, if I need to validate that for everyone, especially for the team that I'm on, what the fuck is the point of me doing this? Like, why is it so important for me to validate something that I don't really even need securing for? It comes from a genuine place. It's like sacrificing. Like, if I was to really, really perpetuate the meaning of sacrifice, it's like, I will do something for you, and you not knowing that forever till you die, I'm cool with that. That's the whole point. If I wanted you to know it, I don't think that's a sacrifice. I'm just going off on a tangent. But anyway, with that being said, that's how we went to C2IL. People thought we were like the sons of Samsung or something, because we came out with 6 videos just fucking ramming with all these features, and these songs were just phenomenal. Like, his album was just something that, like, we've just never seen on the scene. But we've never also seen a production come out of an independent underground label such as us. So they just immediately went to the conclusion, oh, these guys are like the sons of these, like, you know, big investors, big companies, big money, and they're just using the money off of their parents and stuff. Because where they're getting the funding, fucking hell, I don't know. For me, that's bittersweet, because I'm taking it as, thank you for complimenting the fact that you think that this is done with an extreme amount of money. Otherwise, we cannot pertain this quality. But at the same time, it's a bit jarring, because it's like, it's also a bit of a shame, because, you know, like, it really doesn't come from that. It just really comes from how much everyone is putting into this and spilling into it. And that album would take off. I knew it. I just fucking knew it. I just fucking knew Tubin had something, and I knew people would just, you know, this guy would shine. Like, I just knew it. Like, I just felt this gut. And again, I just have this, I don't know, this calling to just need to take that out of people and just, you know, like, bro, see, you could do it. This is who you are. This is like, bro, you were meant for it, you know? And, you know, like, that's how now I'm going to introduce you to this person called Jeff. A lot of people that speculate that this Jeff person came in right around the time DPR fucking broke up into this fucking shenanigan and was, you know, trying to get into my ears and all of that is not true. It's not true. Let me just give you a formal introduction. Now we are at a point, now that you know, where Scott meets Jeff, right? Scott introduced Jeff to the team. We didn't have an investor. We didn't have somebody that was being our capital, where we got the investments from people. We had to, like, borrow certain lump sums of money to propel us into the next future us. So in comes Jeff. So he was somebody that I think we were all kind of, we didn't know too much, because, you know, Scott was a middleman of all of that. But Jeff was somebody that saw our vision. This is how I got it, right? This is just my perspective, how I felt about this. So Jeff saw us, believed in our vision, because at that period of time, like, oh, who are these kids on the block? Believed in us, and just decided to have just a fair go at these kids. And I remember, like, he provided us the facilitations, the fucking space. I'm sure our fans know the space that we had long time ago in Korea. Our office, that was all provided by Jeff. He would provide us with new equipment, new materials, new mic, new cameras, all of those things to pretty much fund, I guess you could say, the next thing. Because at that period of time, I just wanted to stop. I just wanted to stop shooting videos for third parties. And I wanted to really, really focus just purely on our own dudes. I mean, could you blame me? Fucking shooting one of those videos took at least 5 years off my lifespan. Anyone that works in Korean production, especially Korean production, knows how fucking hardcore it is. But you're doing that at 25, especially with the system that people are so very against. It has an ingrained hierarchical system where they see somebody such as that, a figure that's like 25 and like, you're the director, and you're just having to constantly fight for every single fucking thing you have to do and prove to yourself is another maniacal war that I just thought I would not get into. But for better or worse, it shaped me into becoming the resilient person that I am today. And I'm truly, truly, truly blessed for those experiences and those moments that would shape me into the person I am today. So with that being said, did I want to do that constantly for other artists and other companies? No. I've wanted to focus on typing. Like, I wanted to focus on our dudes. Like, it didn't mean anything to me at the end of the day. I was doing that so we can make money, right? None of which, obviously, I was pocketing. I just needed to know that was where our income was coming from, so we can go to dudes that we actually believed in and we loved. In comes Jeff. And he gives me this, just personally gives me the space to let that down. That's a huge part. This is something that, again, like, I don't expect any of our other team members to understand. But fuck, if I couldn't let that down, I couldn't go on further doing the things that I had to do. Shooting, renting, fucking lighting, arting, and fucking editing day and night. I did not want to become the world's greatest director. I just needed this tool, and I needed to believe that I could believe in this tool to help our vision on what we wanted to do. People had a choice. People wanted to become the artist. People wanted to become the management. They wanted that. They had the role to fulfill, and they fulfilled it. Now, what you guys say about what you do and how much you do, it's like, it's all fine. Because at the end of the day, that's kind of essentially why we were in it for doing it. But I didn't really care about any of that. I just cared about, so what's the next step, guys? What do we do? How do we get from here and here and here? And mind you, like, when Jeff came in, his first project with us was Jasmine, right? I was trying to find all these ways to make money, like save cost, but have the video look good. That in itself is something that I try to garner towards, in terms of, like, there must be a more efficient way of doing things production wise. Any director, anyone that's in videography would be attuned to these thoughts as well, because it's like, man, if I could get away with this type of quality with that type of camera, fuck, we can easily make this into a higher quality production video, and hence Her was born. Mind you, up to that period of time as well, I was also part of the song making process. I was part of the creative conceptualizing the creative aspect of it, and obviously the whole video and imagery and all of that and editing and all of that. I did that. Right? I did that for the most part. So just so people understand, if you're new here, this is just what I do. And everyone did their own part. Like Cream did a shit ton of it for the production. Tarbin, went on with his making his song. He was the main artist. He was like the dude. He was the face of DPR, the representation of what people would see. Scott would be I guess you could call the management, where he would do the PRs and and not even just, I mean, we did A&R all together, to be fair, but, you know, we didn't really have like a good PR agent. We didn't really have a good, so it was, to be fair, it was just a lot of organic growing, as you could say. Right. Okay, fine. So just to give you an idea, an idea of where we were at now. That's the album. So Jeff is the investor to funding all of that. Mind you, this person was somebody that we couldn't really get close or in touch with because Scott was in the way. But let alone if he was someone that was shady later in the investigation of what was to happen, we could have all easily just ordered everything. Like if he didn't hand this amount of money, we had everyone just ordered everything. But that's not for this conversation right now. I'll get back to that. The reason why I say this is because he's now like out in the public and being accused of such and such and such. Let me just give you context to now where we're going. So her album happens. Mind you, I'm still not getting paid. Like I'm still getting paid a freelance fee. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, we're going up. We're succeeding. Everyone like seems to be. I mean, something's happening. You know, something seems to be working. We went on our tour, our first tour, but something seems to be happening because I feel like, you know, for some reason we're just going up. We're just going up. Did I expect anyone to be making money? No, I didn't. I was that stupid. I was that naive. Like, did I ever think? Would you ever question, like, with the people that you have, would you ever question, like, oh yeah, with the history that we have, that somebody later on would be distributing money in the most unfair way? No, because in your mind you'll be like, okay then, but who would do that? Who would be dumb enough to fucking go there? Who would be fucking stupid enough to do that? Because they know once somebody finds out, wouldn't that mean the end of it? Wouldn't that jeopardize everything? Like, would you be willing to put that at risk? Like, really? Like, after knowing everything that we've been doing, like, really? So I had no reason to suspect, even at that time. I just thought no one was making money. I was still, during that period of time, I could only make money if we did projects. That was the freelance fee. Mind you, part of the big reason why we never really discussed the ownership, I guess you could say, of DPR was because everyone knew that I had to be a big portion of the ownership of DPR. But at that period of time, I wanted to be careful because I was still, mind you, I was still under another contract, which might have deferred me into maybe fucking something up here. So I just wanted to make sure until my 8 years of that slave contract was up and fucking ready, that only then I would be in the talks of becoming ownership of DPR. I was cool with that. To be honest, I don't even fucking care about that. But fucking hell. Anyway, sorry. Sorry, calm down. Anyway, so mind you, at that period of time, the reason why I say this is because once my company started seeing, not DPR, but my former idol company, once they started seeing that I was making money, or well, what from their perspective, like DPR was going up, they struck a deal with me. This motherfucker struck a deal where he was like, give me a cut and percentage of how much you're earning with DPR. In return, I will probably find a way to shorten your contract sentence. Like your, he was bargaining with me. The audacity. Sorry, it's just my day-to-day. Fucking hell. And that was the reason why, because I know they were onto me. So I did not want to give any type of leeway into having a possibility that could fuck up and be a liability to our future state. So that is initially why I think we were cool with just kind of having Scott as the placeholder. We did not give any meaning otherwise to that, and we all agreed. That's how we all knew it. I mean, you know, I don't know if that was his fucking way of tricking us, but fucking hell, we all believe it. Like, that was just a name on paper. You guys got to understand, the reason why I say context is so important is because our structure, DPR structure, is one like none other that I've ever seen. So you can't really even formulate a blueprint for this. Because I'll be honest, the person that is really getting freaking screwed here is me. Like, I'm already, like, the system, someone like me, I know it's already rigged for someone like me. Like, I already know it's fucking rigged to someone like me. To me, I'm like a fucking gold mine to somebody that could do this and this and this and this and this, but not get paid for this and this and this and this. Anyway, point being, I just had to make this clear because, again, where I'm trying to go to is, all right, so if Tarbin stops at any period of time, like if it just stops, like, oh bro, I can't make music anymore, the money flow stops. Meaning not just the money flow, jobs. Like, we're all about 15 of us at the studio, like, what do we do now? That's when I decided to make Instagram TVs. I'm sure, again, for my OG fans and stuff, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I had to find another means of making videos. So when, you know, our artist got into an artist block or a slump, as they say, we had to find means of trying to keep funneling some type of cash flow. This stress would be always on my mind. Like, because again, like, I can only make videos off of one-offs, right? I can only assume that nobody's making any money because fuck, if I'm getting this much, like, I'm just imagining how much everyone else is getting. Like, it's just jack shit. At that period of time, Scott was living with his mum and dad. I believe everyone else was renting. So for us to be able to pay rent and still strive and still pull off the qualities that we have to do and put our own fucking monies into it, like, it was a day to day. Like, I did that since C Clown. I mean, you know, how much more is it going to hurt me now? If anything, this was healing me day by day because I was finally being able to do the things that I wanted to do with the people that I loved and with the people that I believed in. That was everything for me, everything. And so I turned a blind eye, you know, and mind you, I'm not somebody that's so into finance and so into like money. I hate making it about that. I understand the importance of it because it's important for other people and they value it like that. And because they value it like that, and if they're part of your team, you should also be acquainted to caring for that. I understand that now. I understand that. However, for me, I'm just someone that needs money in order for me to just put it back in to do bigger things. That's just the reason why I see it. And even till this day, when I started doing those Instagram TVs, that's how we would land a lot of the commercials. Like, that's how we got, like, a lot of the sports commercials, sports brands that would contact us and be like, we want to work with you for videos like this. You know, we want to work with, we want a video like this. And that's how we would start shooting commercials. And that also would be like a form of money and branding that we can get in terms of investments. Fucking hell. Now, like, it wasn't all sunshine and butterflies. During that period of time, I was going through my most maniacal fucking period. Because I was having to deal with my bipolar and my depression and my switches from what C-Clown had done to me, and I was still not being able to process it during these periods of times. So I devoted myself and everything that I had into the work because for me it was a means of survival. If I did not, if I had even just looked under the rug in which I swept all the shit under, I knew it would fuck me up. And I made a promise I'll never go back there. I'll never be the person that I was when that had happened to me. I solemnly promised me and my brothers and my family, just fucking keep going, you know, just keep it going. You got this. So there were periods of time where we would experience I guess you could say, a financial loss, for example. Like, for example, is anybody out there for Tybin's album was something that we took a huge financial hit to. You know, I thought, man, if we kept doing production like this, or if we kept doing stuff like that, it would be something that I thought we could still be able to process. But once we took a hit after like a long period of time, it was so hard on Tybin. It was so hard on Scott. It was so hard on me. It was also so hard on Jeff. Because I was there and I saw all of that. Like that was the first time I saw Jeff. And honestly, that was the first time I kind of got to know him a little more, because, you know, like I thought, fuck, like what's happening with all the money behind the back? Like, is this guy like, because I was very attuned and very sensitive to not wanting to really disappoint a lot of the people that believed in us. But at that period of time, I knew this guy was like losing so much money because of how much, so he had to, like Jeff had to go out and convince these big heads to reinvest in us, right? Even when we were at a deficit of like just such a big financial loss, and part of that I've always blamed myself because of just the amount of money absurd amount of money that I think I use in some of the videos. So I never wanted to put Tybin in a situation like that again. Like I promised myself at that period of time I never ever want to put Tybin or anyone, but Tybin mainly, in a situation like that ever again, like ever. So, because again, financially, I didn't fucking make anything from that, but still, it is what it is today. Amazing album, but still, it took a hit. So now I'm just stressing out about how do we bring this guy's spirits up? How do we bring this dude's spirits back up? But also, how do we create another channel where if something has a slump, like maybe we could do this. Mind you, all in all, while this was happening, I got news that my contract had ended fucking ages ago, and the CEOs of that company were just hiding it from me. And I heard this from a member, and I was like, why didn't you just tell me? Because, and you know, obviously he was threatened not to tell me. But that contract was terminated ever since my CEO transferred to another company, dating the old company. But they held such a fucking good facade, and that threat just held so. If you're getting fucked every day, constantly, 24/7, it's like you can't imagine the headspace you get into, the trauma response, the PTSD. Like you just don't. There's no place for you to have any critical thinking or whatever. There's just no place for you. It's just survival. So when I heard that, I thought everything started aligning, and my first decision and first thought was like, okay, let's have a conversation about revisiting like the shares and everything for DPR. No, it was, and this is what me and Tybin would always talk about. We would be like, hey, isn't it our job as creatives to create? Yes. We should have some interest in what's happening with the money aspect. Correct. But if we have these brothers and, you know, we trust them with everything we're doing, shouldn't they, in their jobs as management, business, finance, whatever, be the first ones to reassure us, like money's being used like this, like this, like this, like this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially knowing us and knowing him, like characteristic-wise, wouldn't you also expect that? But now, you know, I just always say, expect not to expect. Simple as that. And the reason why I say this is, so my next point was, okay then, maybe it's time for me to start my artist career. And me and Tybin always talked about this, like, fuck, wouldn't it be amazing if we do this together? Like, wouldn't it be so fucking amazing if our universes eventually later like collided, and like this whole story that we're element of being an artist together was what sold it to me. Like, it really was. Like, it was, time and time I'll tell people on the interview, I was on the fence of becoming an artist. Because for me, becoming an artist only means I'm projecting and too much more power onto onto my mental disorders already. Like I didn't that risk to reward ratio was something that I just couldn't imagine, like what was to happen to me. But for me, it was I felt like it was time. I felt like it was time to really start that lane of like becoming an artist. And I thought everyone was happy for me because like we're in the same boat. Like I just thought, bro, like why would he be happy for me? And the first response I got from Scott was, no, you can't. And I'm like, oh, what? So who else would be able to do the videos and all that? And I'm like, don't you think I can take care of that? If I was already part of this, part of that, part of this, made this, do you not think I could do another lane while protecting this? Do you not think I've ever thought about that? But besides the fact of that, why are you saying no to it? And I still remember. And he was like, no, because he thinks he can't control me. He thinks if it worked in any way or shape or form, that I was going to be too hard to control in the future. And I don't know why, like what? I mean, why would you want to control me? And obviously those moments were the moments where all these red flags started happening. You got to understand, before all of this, like I see a lot of sides to Scott where Scott only shows to the team. And I see a lot of sides where sometimes I see where it's like a very soft, empathetic side. That side I try to nurture, that side I try to help. And for me, I've always set it up as a challenge for me to really help this dude. Like I just really wanted this guy to be able to not put up a facade of like a strong fucking butt hurt, like fucking, you know, like so like insecure dude that just has to go around getting some validation. I feel like, bro, you can drop it. Because the dude you are is a decent dude. Like, why do you have to keep doing that? Because somebody has to be the bad guy, he would say. I'm like, no. I mean, I get the logic, but we're not being bad. Like, no one's slacking off. Everyone's going in. Like, if you keep projecting that, how would that make Live feel? How would that make Cream feel? How would that make Chunyong feel? And because of those moments, it would propel us into these like complex thoughts of like, fuck, okay, let's just understand this guy. Let's just fucking, you know, bat and like, bro, let's just put it down. Let's just put it down for this dude, you know. But fuck, you don't want me to become an artist? And I still remember, I'm like, if you told me that you wanted to become anything, all of a sudden I was like, Scott, if you told me and you just, let's say you wanted to become like a chef. Just randomly. Oh, you know what? I can't do DPR. I want to become a chef. My first response to you would be, fucking good for you, man. Let's find a way where we can make that happen. That would have been my first response. It wouldn't have been like, oh my God, like what, like. Sorry if I'm getting too heated. But that's what I lived with. That's like, you do all of that for these. You're doing all of this for these people, and you know your social life's not there. You're blacking out every day, every night, every now and then at home, not understanding what you're blacking out to, and you know you think deep down everyone's not getting a piece of the pie, and everyone's putting their money. The reason why I thought no one was getting a piece of the pie was because, as any entrepreneur, everyone just has to invest initially. And as the people that were leading it, I just thought, we can make money later, but we have to put in more to retract that, to get that back later anyway. So it's not really that important. It's about how this guy looks, as opposed to oh, let's skim out on this and you know let's like settle for this. Like you can always find ways to make money, but you can never ever find ways to rebuy certain experiences. In certain moments, like those are just everlasting and those are just timeless. They are things that pass after a certain time. Time is like that in general. Everything that passes will never come back. So for me, it was just more important to reinvest into moments where I knew would be historically just there forever, permanently. as opposed to like, oh yeah, let's just have the money later on and just use it then. Just didn't make sense to me. So I just thought, okay, everyone was fucking pouring their pockets out. No one was really making anything from this. Because everyone would just be complaining about how much money they're not really making. Everyone was struggling. Cream had to sell his car at one point. I was borrowing money up till Tabin's final album in DPR, which was I Cool. I Cool, mind you, I did 2 videos on that, and I started doing the whole run and gun thing where I borrowed the equipment again myself. I'll be the DP, the lighting and everything, and I'll find all these fucking locations over the span of the next 2 months while I debuted, by the way. And this is the funniest thing, all right? This is the fucking funniest thing. If you're an artist, right? If you're an artist, you say you're the artist, and you shoot and direct and edit and everything of your own video. So how do you get paid for that then? How do you, is that a separate thing? Like if you're under an artist contract and every money that you invest into your artistry is going to be, let's say, I mean, unless it's a ridiculous amount, but like, let's say you invested in it and obviously that's the debt you make. Unless you could fucking start knocking it off of your streams and stuff, you're not going to see any way or means of making any money back, especially. And then what about the whole editing fee? What about the whole VFX fee, the color grading fee, the director's fee? Shouldn't that be all separate? In a perfect world, that would have been so fucking amazing. Why wasn't that conversation ever brought up? I don't fucking know. So yeah, became an artist. I was in debt because obviously the money that I used for my own music videos, editing, obviously didn't get paid for it because it's my videos. I was in debt, and I still remember, man, like fucking. All right, let me just be real. I've never felt more alone in my life during that period of time. Like I literally never ever felt more alone, more cut off from our team. And that goes for everybody. People know, our fans know how we celebrated the projects that we did before that, how we celebrated Live's album. Everyone got together like it was like something that we were all fucking on board for. It felt like a ship that we all decided to jump on, put our main focus into this, drive passion. And I get it, times were different back then, but still, it felt like everyone wished the best for me, but didn't at the same time. And I still remember, like, it was like one of the most depressing releases. I was struggling mental health wise, trying to figure out who the fuck this character was. That has been with me all my life. So, you know, look, I started feeling the disparity, I guess you could say, from my peers around me. I guess it was just something that I never really could explain, but it felt like I was just doing it all by myself. And I still remember, like, I told a few of us, you know, I told a few of you guys, I was like, man, like, what I feel so alone doing this? Like, I wish I could have you guys more present. And they're like, you know, but we don't know how to help you. And it's like, I get it, but it wasn't like help or advice that I was seeking. It was just connection and company, really.